Hey guys, it's Matt from the Expert Platform. Welcome back to our Raising Finance series with Tej from
Tej Talks. Hey everyone.
And in this particular episode, we're going to be talking about the things that you need to do to raise your profile to get investments to come to you. If you remember in our previous video, I was talking about how you get money to come to you, and these are some of the things that you need to do. So, what do we need to do? We need to raise your profile.
Yes, so raising your profile comes in many ways, right? Yeah. I think the easiest and best way to do it is via social media. It's via personal brand. Yeah. You can go to 10 networking events, speak to 30 people at each, that's pushing it. That's 300 people. Yeah. That's 10 times 25 quid. That's 10 times leaving the house, having to dress up. Mm-hmm. You put one post on Facebook, you get thousands of people. Yeah. Sitting at home in your underwear, drinking milk.
Don't put your post in your underwear.
You know, put
pictures up in your underwear, yeah.
But just to keep it in writing or audio. And you got to think, hold on, yes, face-to-face is great, but if you can reach 1,000 people with one post that you can write anywhere that takes 5 or 10 minutes, which one do you want to do, right? So I think let's focus on the branding and social media. Yeah. So it is important to show the world what you're doing, because a sad question of society, if you're not online, do you exist?
Yeah, that's the thing. We've had investors check us out online. It's before the days of us having even a website. We had one investor who said, well, you don't exist because you don't have a website. So then we got a website, and then that's not a problem anymore. So you need to have those presences, demonstrating what you do and talking about what it is that you do in property, not what you're doing anywhere else.
100%.
So people are interested in that. If you're looking to raise finance, you need to talk about property.
And why should they invest in you? And the easiest way is a website. You can build it for like 5 quid a month on Wix, on GoDaddy, things like that. Facebook's free, Instagram's free. Yeah. All these platforms, not necessarily all of them, but certain platforms you should be on and should be active on, because if you ask for investment, let's say when you first started and you had no deals, you could still raise money. Mm-hmm. But me as an investor, what am I going to do? Oh, I don't see any refurbs. I don't see any houses being bought. Yeah. Do I want to invest in these guys? Maybe not. In a month or two, oh damn, 4 projects. They're adults, tick. They can do this stuff, tick. I feel safe giving my money to them. Yeah. And I know that people have seen my social media, seen my branding, seen my pictures, my stories, and they've said, Tej, one investor even said to me, he said, Tej, if something goes wrong, I know that you can fix it, because I've seen everyone you know, I've seen the mistakes you've posted, I've seen the challenges, I'm comfortable with you. And I said, I didn't think about that, because I've shown all the stuff that goes wrong and goes right. If you're not online, then how are people going to verify you? Right? If you have a new startup or a new company, what do? Who's Monzo Bank? Who's this? Who are they? Yeah. So you have to have the same presence if you want the same presence to be investable. So it's super important to be online, to build a brand, to be memorable, whether it's your style, the way you speak, your videos, your language, whatever it is, something about you has to be memorable that people say, cool, I'm going to invest in him or her instead of them. So get online, there's no excuse. I don't care how old you are or what your experience level is, you can learn how to use social media. There's investors out here who have 30, 40 properties, and they look at me and say, Tej, I can't raise a single pound. And I'm like, I got 12 or 11 now, and I'm raising hundreds of thousands. Only because I have a brand. Yeah. But they should be raising way more than me. But
they've got the experience to back it up.
Yeah. If someone said, me, 11 properties, or someone with 30, naturally you're thinking, I'm investing 30, naturally. Yeah. But they're not, because they're not out there. And that's the old school way, and it still works, but I think it has an expiry date.
I think there's a combination of the two. So if the people with 30 properties can learn to shout about what they do a little bit more, then raising finance will be easy for them.
Easy.
And the same as a chicken and egg, and leveraging other people's experience, leveraging your team's experience is a really great way of starting. So when you started out, you leveraged the experience of lots of other property investors by interviewing them on the podcast, listen to it, Tej Talks, and which enabled you to be able to show that you've seen a lot of good, a lot of the bad, and then people could see that obviously you're an expert in that field, having not done it, but you're working with the experts that have done it. I just wanted to come back to something you said about networking in person, how that's, you might be able to meet 300 people as opposed to 3,000 online. One thing that we find is that actually that personal communication is key when raising finance.
Yeah.
So getting yourself out there and then converting those people down to that one-to-one, face-to-face meeting, phone call, Skype call, Zoom call, to be able to actually seal the deal. So I think once you've created your brand, then create a way of capturing people's information to be able to then have that conversation.
Yeah, I think so. Face-to-face networking is still super important.
Yeah.
I co-host a networking event, so I can't say anything wrong with it. But with a brand, and I've experienced this, the 7 touch points to a sale.
Correct.
I've done 5 to 7 of them with my brand.
Yeah.
So I've had people invest. Actually, 75% or more of the funds that people invested in me, I hadn't met them.
Yeah.
And actually, 60% of them I haven't met, and I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah.
I said to the guy, hey, when you're next around, let's meet up. I'm too busy. Just let me keep investing in you. I was like, fine.
Yeah.
So it is important to have that face-to-face, but it's also possible, it's taken me a year, let's make this clear, of podcasting and branding, to get to a point where people will invest off you based on your digital communication.
Yeah.
They may not even want a phone call, they may not even want like a Skype or anything. However, face-to-face is super important because it builds a connection, like you said, that you can't get. So I like, doing the brand, e-meeting people, sussing them out, them sussing me out, then saying, hey, want to meet up? Because you filter down, whereas in a networking event, you might get stuck with, somebody you don't want to speak to, stuck with someone else you don't. Whereas online, you can you suss each other out. Yeah. You do that pre-dating dance before you start investing thing. But totally agree, both are vital.
A very key thing is to be consistent.
Yes.
So you said you've done a year of getting yourself to that stage where people know you, like you, and can trust you, which are the 3 most important things. People invest in people they know, like, and trust. It's actually nothing to do with the deal. The deal could be amazing, could be not so good, but if they like, know, and trust the person, then they will invest the money.
Yeah.
And as long as you deliver and keep them up to date and be honest with them, then investors are generally very happy. Even if things go slightly wrong, slightly over time, you can generally keep investors happy. But it's that consistency of posting, that consistency of getting out there, because it's something we've learned a lot about this last year in our development business, is that actually as soon as you stop posting, your traction just goes.
It's just like millennials' lack of attention span, right? Like if you're not recent, again, people forget you, right?
Yeah.
But I think an important thing to know on consistency is, I say to people, look, I've raised 430 grand in 2.5 months.
Yeah.
But it hasn't taken me 2.5 months.
No.
It's taken me 12 months of posting pretty much every day on at least 2 platforms. Mm-hmm. Generating content, doing videos, getting 2 likes from my mum and my sister, if that, me watching it over and over again, to then eventually after 12 months be able to raise money like that. And people don't want to do the 12 months of posting every day, they don't. But it's the easiest way to then raise money quickly. So you have to be consistent because you'll be forgotten.
And you have to start now. If you intend to raise money in 10 months' time, following Tej's timeline, then actually you need to be consistent and get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And once you've started talking to investors, then you'll need some information to give them. So in the next part of this series, we're going to be talking about what you need to put into an investment proposal, that document, which is really key for getting feedback on whether someone's likely to invest with you and so on. So catch us in the next video.